Welcome again, Maxim here, and this material is the second part of the guide on how to get all Warframes. Let's start with something easy, if you are not afraid of tricks on K-Drive. Yareli. You will get her main blueprint from the Wave Rider quest. The blueprints for the remaining components are in a dedicated room in a dojo, which you have to build. However, these blueprints do not require anything special to build. Unlike Dagath, here you also need a dedicated room, replication of the blueprints also with credits, but to create this character you need a special resource, Veinthorn. It can be obtained on series in the Abyssal Zone. If you haven't seen anything like this on this map before, you can find the Abyssal beacons in the offer of basic syndicates. It will give you access to this mission. It costs 5000 standing points and is available from 2nd syndicate rank. This is extermination with something extra. During the mission, you will find special NPCs who will point you the nearest cursed artifact. The number of artifacts needed to be carried to the extraction is equal to the number of players in a team. Each artifact applies some kind of negative effect on the carrier. To make this easier, one player can equip a fast Warframe to carry artifacts, while others focus on extermination. Mesa is great for fast extermination. You receive Veinthorn for completing the mission. On normal mode from 6 to 8, on the steel path from 8 to 11. This special resource, as well as any other that I will talk about in this video, is not affected by any resource booster. One small exception with the Voruna, but we'll get to that later. Moving on, characters that are available for bounties. Let's start with Caliban. You can get his parts on Namar bounties from Konzu and Yudigo. These will be available to you after completing the new War Story quest. But there is one problem here. Which component you will be able to get at the given time depends on the current rotation. Every 2.5 hours it is different. Each rotation contains only one specific part for the Caliban in the reward pool. Both Konzu and Yudigo have the same rotation. But the good thing is that the main blueprint is an exception. It is available for credits on the market. When it comes to building Caliban, however, a special resource is required, Narmar Isoplast. But it is also a reward in the bounty rotation, so you don't have to look for it. Another Warframe from bounties is Gyre, obtainable on Zariman after the Angels of the Zariman story quest. Blueprints, including the main one, are also from bounties, but it is much more convenient here, because different parts are on constantly available different bounties. So you can farm any Gyre part all the time. The only difficulty is the fact that you have to own some special resources for crafting, and the systems require Void Plume Quill. Theoretically, it is available on one of the bounties, but it is easier to farm during the missions. The first source is Cephalon Melika, who will give you one quill for bringing an artifact, Zarium. It creates a special sound, so it's easy to find. You will meet Melika at least once during each mission. Sometimes you can simply miss her on the way, but on large maps, and with a bit of luck, you can meet her even 3 times in one mission. The second source of these items is Ravenous Void Angel, which you will find at the end of each rotation on Void Armageddon. We will get back to the Zariman later on. Now we move to the last Warframe available from bounties, Qorvex. These are located on Sanctum Anatomica, and you will have access to it after the Whispers in the Wall story quest. You will get the main blueprint for completing his quest, and the components are obtainable on bounties from Fibonacci. You need some local resources to build it. However, if you are unlucky quite some time, you will always have the option of buying Qorvex components from Bird 3. The components are available from rank 2 of the Kavya Syndicate, and the main blueprint from rank 4. And speaking of buying blueprints from a vendor, let's move on to the Warframes available this way. Let's start with Styanax. Vendor name, Chipper. Location, Drifter Camp on Earth. Required quest, Veilbreaker. You will find a full set of blueprints here, and the required resources are various. Some from the plains, Orb Valleys, Cambion Drift, and Zariman. A little bit of everything. You pay for the blueprints with stock, which you get on a Chaos mission. You have one mission available per week. The more additional challenges you complete, the more stock you get. Plus, you can also find some additional stock laying on the ground during the mission. You will have access to all Styanax parts when reaching rank 5 in the Syndicate. It is after completing 5 different Chaos missions. The second Warframe available from the vendor is Kullervo. You can buy it from Akritis for Kullervo's Bane. You can get this resource by defeating Kullervo after the fight with Oraworm on Duviri. Of course, you must first complete the Duviri Paradox quest. I will only add that you receive Banes to your inventory after completing the mission on Duviri, so you cannot go immediately to Akriti's shop after the fight. Go to the exit portal, complete the mission, and make a purchase on Dormizone. She has a full set of blueprints. Some local resources are required for crafting. On the regular mission, you will get from 4 to 6 Banes from the fight, on the Steel Path from 6 to 8. Kullervo's Halt is available during Anger, Sorrow and Fear. And now the last group of Warframes, those that can be obtained both on a dedicated mission and from a vendor for a special resource. Conjunction Survival on Lua, available after the War Within story quest. This is a standard survival mission with one modifier. Every 5 minutes, special units appear, Lua Traxes. To defeat them, you must first reduce their health bar to 0, and when they go into spirit form, take them down with an operator, before they regenerate. Healed ones can drop Luatrax Plasm, while from each rotation it is a guaranteed reward. This type of mission occurs on Lua twice, but on Uvarium, from the rotation you will get only 3 pieces, while on Circulus 5, unless you go the Steel Path. Then the rotations on Uvarium give 5 pieces, and on Circulus 6. This resource from the rotation cannot be multiplied by any resource boosters, as I mentioned earlier. However, the Trax Plasm dropped by Luatraxes can be multiplied, both by boosters and by a special companion mod. Additionally, the more players in a team, the more Luatrax will appear every 5 minutes. You can get parts for Voruna from rotation C on this mission, but remember when I said we'd go back to the Zariman? You can also buy parts for Voruna for Luatrax Plasm from Yonta in her shop. The resource itself is also one of the required components for building blueprints. Citrine can be obtained on Mars. Mission Mirror Defense. You have access to the location after completing Heart of Deimos quest, also having at least 3rd mastery rank. In this mission, you have to defend 2 crystals one by one, both in different locations. You can heal and strengthen them by collecting floating crystal shards. Between defenses, players move through the special room, where, for a short time, you can collect a huge amount of shards. Every 50 collected, the currently defended, or the next to defend, crystal is strengthened. This action will also reward you with a pack of crystals, to use at Oltak's shop, on the Necrolisk. You also receive pack upon reaching full rotations, where one rotation is both crystals defended. On normal mission, collecting 50 fragments will give you 5 crystals, and on rotation you will get 10. On the Steel Path, 50 fragments will give you a pack of 7, and on rotation you will get 15. The mission is most effectively played with 1 Titania in a team. Additionally, it is best to play with a full team, because the more players, the more enemies, and the more of them you kill, the more often crystal fragments will appear in the air. Citrine components can drop from rotation C, but if you are unlucky, you can buy Citrine components from Otak. Dante is a bit easier to get. His parts are available from Disruption on Sanctum Anatomica, as a possible rotation C reward, after the Whispers in the Wall story quest. You can farm him quite quickly, because with a good builds and well-coordinated team, you can finish individual rotations pretty fast. And on top of that, the reward system from the Disruption means that from round 3 you can have rotation C all the time. And even if you are not lucky, you can buy a complete set of Dante's blueprints from Lloyd for Vessel Capillaries. On a normal mission, for each defended point, you will get from 2 to 4, on a Steel Path from 5 to 7. Let's move on to Jade. After completing the Jade Shadow story quest, you will receive a Jade main blueprint, and access to a new mission, Ascension. It starts with a 1-minute defense, and then, after going to the elevator shaft, your task is to power it up by throwing batteries at the capsule on the platform. There are 2 types of batteries: small, dropped by defeated enemies, and large, randomly placed around the elevator shaft at different heights. Small batteries power the elevator for the 10 seconds, large ones additionally speed up the elevator. You can stack this boost up to 30 seconds. It is good to have one person on the platform to watch over the elevator power, while others fight to get small batteries and search for the large ones. Additionally, you will find several blue glowing beacons in the shaft. They make a characteristic sound. After collecting 3, Sister of Parvos will appear at the top of the elevator shaft. It is worth fighting her, because a special resource drops from her. Vestigial Modes. You will also get it at the end of the mission. On the normal mission, you will get from 5 to 7 from a defeated sister and 11 to 13 as a mission reward. On the steel path, from sister 8 to 10 and for mission 16 to 18. After leading the platform to the top, you will still have to escort the capsule to the edge of the map. Parts for Jade can drop as a mission reward, but you can also buy a complete set of her blueprints in the Drifter's camp. To the left of the Cal, near the cliff, Ordis will be waiting for you. You can make a purchase in his shop by paying with vestigial modes. And we have Koumei. You will have access to the special shrine and the mission associated with it after the Once Awake and Saya's Vigil quests. Then on Earth, starting from the Orbiter or from the shrine located on Cetus, you'll be able to play a special mission, for which you'll receive Fate Pearls. You can use them to pay for Koumei components at the shrine. They can also drop as a reward. The mission is best played with a Mirage with an augment to the second skill. You can buy this mod from the Arbiters of Hexis and Cephalon Suda offer. I used this build, and it was enough to complete this task. During the mission, you have to place one sacrificial basket from the Ostrons on the Koumei's altar, then 4 more when they are created. After that, you have to get rid of the appropriate number of enemies, depending on the number of players, and then defeat the boss. In the middle of the fight, you have to add 2 more baskets to the altar. For a regular mission, you will get from 14 to 18 pearls, and on the steel path from 20 to 24. But this is the only type of mission of all I mentioned before where there is not worth playing the steel path, because the mission in this mode is extremely longer. It is better to do quick and efficient runs on normal mode over and over again. I will also add that pearls are also a required component for building Koumei. And that's all the Warframes you can get for now. Next is Site 09. This character will be released with the Warframe 1999 update, and will be probably obtainable from a trader in the new syndicate there. We will find out very soon. If you have any questions, the comment section is yours. Or you can also visit me on one of my streams on Twitch. Link is in the description. See you next time. Bye.